It's crazy to say 10 years.
It is, right?
Yeah, I guess we could start there. What does it feel like, given the past? It's been 10 years since winning that first title. Can you believe it?
Well, I've been here, so maybe you guys say something. B.Rush hasn't aged in 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that it's been 10 years and getting back and seeing some of these guys that we used to run up and down the court with. And again, seeing everybody in the staff, Coach Raymond, all the guys, it's just unbelievable to see these guys today.
Yeah, man, time go fast. Like he says, it went quick. While you live in it, you don't really seem that fast, but when you look at the calendar, it's fast. So, like he says, it's a blessing to be around your brothers you grinding with and just always stay connected with. So it's good.
It's crazy. It's like, it's 10 years, but it also feels like yesterday. Because we all got back together, and it was kind of like we were back in the locker room again. So it's fast, but it's also slow at the same time. But you look on the court, and you see Andre Iguodala's jersey being retired. And then you look on the other side, you see Steph Curry still playing, trying to win a championship. So we're in this middle ground of, are we old heads? Are we not old heads? Like, yeah. But it's really beautiful to see that legacy continues to live on.
Okay, well, sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, Festus, we know what you're up to, but Mo, what have you been up to? And Brandon, what have you guys been up to over the last 10 years?
I played overseas for 2 years once I left after the NBA. I was over in Greece for a little bit during COVID. And then about a year ago, I started training kids, and now I'm coaching my 8th grade. He's going to be a freshman next year in AAU basketball.
So for me, kind of like the same. After I left here, I went to the Clippers, then I went to the Magic, then went over to China for 3 years. And now the last 2 years, I've been coaching college. Last year at Georgia Southern, this year at South Florida.
Wow.
So that's what I've been on.
Well, I do this TV show for NBC Sports Bay Area.
Right.
Well, going back to before you came to the Warriors, what did you know about this franchise before you joined the franchise?
I always knew they played fast, played up and down. They let their bigs kind of play how they, certain bigs like me, not really Festus, but they kind of let guys go up and down and shoot threes and just play fast. And they gave guys off the bench opportunities. You see Jarrett, Jack, and Carl Landry was coming off the bench being really impacted before we got here. So, and just knew it was a basketball place, even when they wasn't good. When B.Rush was here, first time, it was always packed. So it was definitely a college feel out here.
Brandon, what did you know about this franchise before you came to it?
Before, all I remember is the Chris Mullins, the Jason Richardsons, those type of players being here. And then Steph getting drafted here right after Davidson. And, I mean, my first year here, as Mo was saying, was a struggle. I mean, I think we won like 23 games. And then following year, we was able to put it together. Steph was getting healthy, and things started to change and came up winning dynasty as they've been the last 10 years.
Do you think, and this again for not you, Festus.
You're not tired of hearing from me much.
I'll get to you in a minute. But the other part of this is that did you guys see the rise? When did you see things shift, Mo?
Man, you just watching, like, when you playing the game, you watch a lot of basketball. Like B.Rush was saying, it was trending in the right direction. Playing against like you said, like on the ceremony, Iguodala playing against the Warriors and the Warriors playing against the Spurs, you kind of see it trending. Never thought I'd be on the team, honestly, and just knowing there's excitement out here in the Bay. And then when I got that call to come out here, if you ever come out here, I was in a no-brainer for me. With these kind of the young core guys they have.
I see it trending once they started taking the defensive end more serious and Steph being healthy majority of the season. And then the draft picks. I mean, you think about it, they got Klay, they got Raymond from being the draft picks, then FESTUS. So they was able to just build from the draft and turn those young guys into real stars.
And what did you guys think, and this is for all three of you, what did you guys think when Mark Jackson said he thought Steph and Klay were the best shooting backcourt in NBA history?
I agree, definitely. I agree with it because I was able
At the time you did?
I think Klay is a better shooter than Steph.
So at the time,
I argue with me with that.
Honestly, at the time, I thought it was a tactic. I thought it was a brilliant tactic. I thought he was just trying to get the guys pumped up. And to be honest, even when we all looked at each other, I remember at the time, it was almost like Klay and Steph looking at each other like, okay, now let's go do this thing. You know, Mark Jackson used to say this thing all the time, don't make me a liar. You know, and so he said it and he challenged them, but he challenged everybody all across the board. You know, B.Rush has talked about defense. He challenged us across the board, whether it's the bigs or challenged the guards. But saying that was really the start to that confidence that we see till today in those guys. It's, you know, Steve Kerr called Steph crazy, and you kind of have to be crazy to be that great. You got to be crazy to think that every shot is going to go in, no matter how crazy you're coming off from half court, and people are saying this is a terrible shot. But you coming up and shooting that and knowing that it's going to go in. That's what Steph is, and that's what he's been doing for a long time. That's what Klay is. Klay had 37 in the quarter. So all these things don't happen if you don't have that edge. So I think Mark Jackson just gave them that battery pack and told them they were going to be great.
Mo, what did you think when you heard that?
I wasn't here yet, so I kind of just heard it, then just kind of like threw it out the window. You know what I mean? But when I got here, I understood what he means. The guy, how they work on a consistent basis, how they work on and off the court, and just to see it. All that stuff be making, Klay be making, is not something they do just in the game. They do it in practice also. So when I got here, I understood, and it was like, oh yeah, these boys are real deal.
Okay, and I got to ask you now this, Brandon. Klay's better shooter than Steph. So I need you to elaborate.
As far as like spot shooting, I think Klay would get Steph. Steph is more off the dribble, it's more of a more rhythm type shooting thing. I mean, but to me, Klay was a better shooter. And I got a chance to shoot with both of them in practice and after practice before these guys got here. So I'd seen it beforehand. And yeah, I always thought Klay was a better shooter. And people argue with me all day with it.
When you guys have all been a part of different teams from, you know, when you were kids, college, to the NBA, obviously at the highest level. When you look at the picture behind you, what made this team special and different for each of you? And then when you look at that picture, what goes through your head?
When I look at this picture, I'm like, wow, I need to open my eyes first. But I mean, just to see that group of guys that grinded through all the bad seasons, the injuries, and all that stuff that goes up throughout the season, and has come out here and put it all on the floor and be able to bring a championship back to Oakland was to me it was a great feeling. So I don't know about the rest of you guys.
Man, like B.Rush just saying, and one thing that team don't really get credit a lot about is how connected we was off the court. Different events we had, just going to Draymond house, just going to different people's house and just hanging out. And that was a big part of us winning. And that's different from other teams. Being here is special, and then seeing that picture right there, just bring back those feelings of the winning and then the parade and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a blessing. It changed all our life.
Yeah, I think about a lot of guys sacrificing, you know, because one of the things we talked about with Andre is Andre came off the bench for all the season, and then the finals, Coach puts him in to start. But even Mo and I, like, we had to, you know, when Coach wanted to go offensive, he's going with Mo Spates, Mo buckets. When Coach wants to go defense, he's going with Festus. And we had to collaborate, even though we're going for the same amount of minutes. And we had this thing where we found this groove, and we all just wanted to win. And we all had this thing in our head that if we win, then everybody gets to eat. And we continue to try to focus on that. We wanted to protect Steph and Klay. That was something we all had in common because we knew that they were generational talent, and it's stuff that we had never seen before they were doing on a nightly basis. And just the unit is what I remember. I remember when I look at this picture, I think about after we won, the ball goes up in the air. The first thing we all do is we're making fun of Steve Kerr, because when Steve won the championship with the Bulls and he hit the shot from the pass from Michael Jordan, he does this crazy celebration. Ah! So when you see Draymond with his hands in the air like this, he was making fun of Steve. But like I said, we're just a big unit. It was like a family. Until today, it was still like family. You know, and I think about the dinners we all had together on the road. Think about some games that we were supposed to lose, or some series that we were supposed to lose, and we're going in the wrong direction, and we all sat together and said, we're going to get it together, and we came back the next game and responded. So there's so many memories like that I think about.
So you guys were there for the inception of a dynasty, but you didn't know, obviously, it was a dynasty, or maybe you did. I'm just wondering, as it's gotten further removed, and you watch them win a second one, and then a third one, and then a fourth one. What's that been like for you, sort of from afar, or not quite so far, but you know what I'm saying? What's it been like for you guys to know, hey, we helped start this thing, but man, they just keep on, and they're still, you know, the core is still here.
I mean, for me, it's simple, man. When people watch me on TV and they see my energy and they see the excitement I have is because I just love to know that, you know, we were a part of this. The legacy that we started off in 2015 and really all the way back to the first playoffs that we had in 2013. But that legacy continues to live today. We talk about, you know, joy, mindfulness, compassion, competitiveness. Those values that Steve Kerr came and wrote on the board. And we were looking around like, yo, is this a yoga retreat? Like, what are you talking about? You know, we got to understand the little things and how much they matter. And, you know, Andre Iguodala came out last game and he was giving credit to all the people in the facility. Raymond Ritter, Eric Hausen. The dynasty doesn't just happen because of the guys on the court. It happens because of everything, all the hands that come to make this thing work all the time. So when I look at it, I'm proud of us as a team, but I'm proud of us as a team, like the organization, the city, the fans. Everything about it is one big family. Thank you, man.
This is why he works at me. Great answer.
You summed it up. You summed it up, bro.
Yeah, you did.
We'll go with that answer.
Hello, champs. I'm journalist from China Sports Media, Zhibobao, and just like you guys share the state coach, his values for the team, do you have any specifically the story to show how he's shown his values in the daily coaching life?
Stories?
Man, the biggest thing when Coach Kerr got here was basically how can we stop turning the ball over. And that was one of the biggest things. He said we got to stop turning the ball over. That's going to make us win more games or get more possessions. But that's one of the biggest things for me that he kind of engraved in us is really not turning the ball over. It helped us get more shots up to the rim without elite shooters.
Was the ball movement, was that different for you?
What do you mean? What do you
No,
mean?
what's not sure. I'm saying, like, when he came here, he talked about flow and
Yeah,
offense,
yeah.
and you know that was something that was different.
No, it was.
So I was here before these guys got here, before Kerr came here, when Mark Jackson was the coach the first year. And what we did, everything was stagnant. Everything was just one-on-one, beat your man type of basketball. Then when Kerr came here, he wanted us to move the ball, not turn the ball over, take great shots, find open man. Just having that type of coach has always been a blessing, especially with his winning background. So he knows the right way to win basketball games.
You know, Steve is so mild-mannered. He's so, you know, when you meet him and you see him, such a nice guy. But it was a few games where he broke a clipboard, you know, that we got to see the competitive side of Steve Kerr. And in those moments, you know, it's for every one of us. It's a reminder of how precious these moments were that we were taking for granted in those moments. Sometimes we did, right? Because we were such a good team that it's so easy for you to coast through some games and just win it in the end. And he would try to remind us that no, that we're building habits. Every time you're building habits, and I think that was the biggest thing I took from Steve is all those little details. When you get to the NBA Finals, they are glaring, you know, and that's what this is about.
Sort of a follow-up to what Scott was asking you. When you look back at this team, do you kind of take pride knowing that it was the first? I mean, the Warriors hadn't won the finals in 40 years, and most people don't remember the '75 team, or at least, you know, this is a long time ago. Do you feel that this team kind of set the standard for what people expected out of Warriors basketball from that point forward?
Man, I just think, like B.Rush was just saying, when we had Mark Jackson here, he was definitely trending in the right direction. The year we lost to the Clippers, we all was in the locker room. I know y'all can remember this, just saying everybody got to get better. And then just seeing, leading up to the championship, the year of the championship, I don't think now one of us up here could be like, yo, we think we're going to win the championship. We were just like, man, what if? But that definitely set the standard of strength in numbers. Big thing Steve Kerr was on, and just understanding, man, let's play for our brother. That's how I fun playing, because I know these fans out here will support. That's how I take of it.
I mean, the word championship came up from Mark Jackson first. He said we could win a championship. And I was a young guy in the league. I hadn't had the experience of playing on other teams. I came from college. I played at Vanderbilt. We won an SEC championship, which I felt like, okay, that was, you play, you work hard, and then you might win a championship. I didn't understand the road it was going to be. Like, there's Kobe Bryant in the league. There's Kevin Durant in the league. There's LeBron James in the league. And these great players, as a young player, you don't really understand what it takes. But you hear this word, and I think it sets the North Star for you. So having that word being thrown out, having Mark Jackson give us confidence, saying that to Steph and Klay, but he said that to a bunch of different people. You can run faster than any big in the league, he said to me. Putting just confidence in all the different players across the board. And then Steve Kerr coming in and tying it together, saying, okay, if you guys move the ball and play together, play unselfish, then we're going to get somewhere. And what that somewhere was, we didn't really know, but we just wanted to see. And it's crazy to say that we were NBA champions.
Thinking about, oh, sorry.
No, I'm good.
He answers questions well, doesn't he?
He does it all.
Thinking about Steph being kind of crazy, one of the lasting images of that season was him in the regular season dribbling through like 4 Clippers defenders behind the back, everything, hitting that shot. Do you guys remember what your vantage points were on that particular play and what that play meant for him and your team?
I was just like, yo, why is Steve Kerr tripping? I see this all the time. Steph been doing this. Why is he tripping? And I think it was just an introduction for him to Steph Curry and the madness, that the controlled chaos that was Steph Curry, and to watch it was hilarious from my perspective because he went through this range of emotions where he was like, what are you? Why are you doing? That's a bad. Oh my God, and to see that is just. I think that's what you go through as a fan, as a teammate. You see Steph Curry, he does these amazing things and you can't fathom. Like, how is that a thing that you do, but somehow it goes in and it's just all the hours that you see him put the hours in. You can't ever, as a coach, as a teammate, if you see somebody put the hours in and they take the shot, you believe it because you see so many hours. He made 77 3-pointers in a row in practice. So you have no right to say anything to him. You're like, yo, take whatever shots you want. I'll go rebound the basketball. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I just think when Steph was doing that, he kind of was sending a message to the Clippers and Chris Paul because they was getting the best of him. Chris Paul was kind of like the face of the league as a guard, and Steph was like, yo, I'm following Rob. I'm here. I'm going to let y'all feel it. So that was amazing when he did that, honestly.
Brandon?
That's an answer for it.
What was it like once that finals game was over and you guys won the finals? What were those next 3 or 4 hours like besides the champagne?
It was just a celebration. I mean, just all the hard work you put in throughout the season, the doubts, the practices. I mean, just all the work you did put in behind the scenes, and being able to celebrate that with your brothers and on the court of the opponents, being in the Cavs home court and just wrecking their locker room and going back to the hotel and having fun. Man, that was just something great to be a part of.
There's no way to celebrate in Cleveland. I cancel you, but
We celebrated Root
we were at Root Chris celebrating our championship.
No, man, more.
Whatever it calls.
Steakhouse. And I from my vantage point, I wasn't supposed to be there. I'm a kid from Nigeria, came to the States as a teenager and discovered basketball. So I couldn't believe. I played against Mo Space in college. And he could attest to this is my early years in college. I was just a clumsy big man running up and down the court. I didn't think the NBA was in my future. So being able to be in that locker room, to be a part of the team, to contribute to that championship, to be with these guys and to have fun doing it, was a blessing all around because guys don't get to have all those experiences at the same time. It's like this perfect storm where you got incredible teammates, you guys are having fun, you're winning basketball games, you're doing it the right way, you got Steph Curry who's a model citizen, and we're all following the lead. So all across the board, I thought it was just this big moment that we'll never forget. We kept saying it, Barbosa said, we're going to be championship. And when he said it, we're all looking like, you're not supposed to say that, like you might jinx us. And along the way, we're like, yeah, we gonna be championship, you know.
Man, so for me, it was basically just thinking back how growing up, you see Michael Jordan in the locker room being emotional about winning championships. So now you in the same situation, understand like, hey man, especially where I come from, like, damn, man, I just won an NBA championship. So it was definitely still to today. I don't know how y'all feel, but it still feel unreal because we still kind of young, we still can hoop a little bit, but I think it's gonna really hit when we get in our 50s. I understand, like, man, you really did it. You really did it. You really changed your life, your family life for the rest of your life. So it was definitely a great feeling, and it's still to, especially coming out here, you kind of feel it again.
Cool. Is that it? I have a follow-up. You said on the radio today that Brandon was the one that gave you the Mo Buckets nickname. Is that true? Or?
That was you.
Yeah, B.Rush is like, Mo get in there and just go get so many buckets so quick. Jeez, Mo Buckets. him and Coach Fraze kind of run that up. But I give big shout out to B.Rush because he went through so much here. When I was playing with the Memphis, I remember the first game of the year, he goes up and dunk and tears ACL. And just me and him being one of the few to win a college championship and the NBA championship, we kind of like the same age. I always followed him, always see what he was doing at Kansas. And still what he do right now after basketball. I just want to give your flowers to you, big dog. Like, your path you did, the path you keep going, and keep always have a good spirit. I really appreciate you. Appreciate what you do, bro. Thanks.
Cool. Appreciate that. You guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.